Good morning and welcome to Barbara's Bulletin. I'm your host, Barbara. Today we're going to delve into a complex and sensitive topic that has been making headlines around the world: the ongoing conflict in the Middle East, specifically the situation in Gaza. As we navigate this story, I want to assure our listeners that we will strive to provide a fair and balanced perspective, acknowledging the nuances and complexities of this issue. According to recent reports from Palestinian authorities, over 1,000 people have been killed in Gaza since a ceasefire was reached between Israel and the militant group Hamas last October. This number is staggering, and it's essential to understand the context behind these tragic events. The enclave has seen near-daily strikes, shelling, and gunfire along the boundary that divides Gaza into Israeli and Palestinian-controlled zones. We've also learned that Israeli operations in the Gaza Strip have resulted in the deaths of 1,005 Palestinians, as reported by the Gaza Health Ministry. The most recent deaths were recorded after a series of Israeli drone strikes in the past few days on towns and refugee camps in central Gaza and Gaza City. The Israeli military has acknowledged carrying out these strikes, stating that they were targeting terrorists. It's crucial to note that both sides have accused each other of violating the ceasefire, and the situation remains volatile. The war erupted last October when Hamas-led militants stormed into southern Israel, killing 200 people, mostly civilians, and taking 251 hostage. In response, Israeli leaders promised a punishing offensive on the Gaza Strip to annihilate Hamas and free the hostages. As we explore this story further, we will hear from experts and individuals affected by the conflict, providing a deeper understanding of the complexities at play. We will also examine the international community's response to the situation and the potential paths forward towards a peaceful resolution. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Barbara's Bulletin. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. We're continuing our coverage of international news, and today we're focusing on a developing story out of Poland. A Russian artist and outspoken critic of President Vladimir Putin was fatally shot earlier this week in the town of Biała Podlaska, near the border with Ukraine. The victim, identified as Semyon Skrepetsky, was known for his provocative caricatures of Putin as well as other prominent Russian and Soviet leaders. He had been living in exile in Poland since 2021 after reportedly facing threats and intimidation in Russia. The Polish government had offered him protection, but he declined. According to investigators, Skrepetsky was shot 5 times, including once in the head, in what appears to be a targeted and deliberate attack. Police have detained a suspect, who was using a Georgian passport, and are working to determine whether the killing was ordered by Russian authorities. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk has described the incident as a political murder, and warned that if it is found to have been commissioned by Russia, it would be a serious matter with international implications. The Kremlin has denied involvement in similar incidents in the past, but this latest attack has raised concerns about the safety of dissidents and critics of Putin's regime living in exile. It's worth noting that Skrepetsky was not only critical of Putin, but also of other Russian leaders, including opposition figures like Alexei Navalny. His satirical work often pushed boundaries and sparked controversy, but it also highlighted the importance of free speech and artistic expression in holding those in power accountable. As this story continues to unfold, we'll be keeping a close eye on developments and bringing you updates as more information becomes available. In the meantime, we want to hear from you. What do you think about the situation, and how should governments balance the need to protect dissidents with the need to maintain good relations with other countries? Share your thoughts with us on social media using the hashtag Barbara's Bulletin. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. As we wrap up today's show, I want to bring you a developing story from West Africa, where gunfire and explosions have been reported at the main airport in Niger's capital, Niamey. According to eyewitnesses and security officials, the attack began early Thursday morning, with witnesses describing the sound of gunfire and explosions coming from the entrance to the airport. Now, I want to emphasize that the situation is still unfolding and details are emerging. But what we do know is that this is not the first time the Diori Hamani International Airport has been targeted. In January, the Islamic State group claimed responsibility for a similar attack that targeted Niger's drone assets. Niger, like its neighbors Burkina Faso and Mali, has struggled to contain deadly jihadi violence in the region. The country is led by a military junta since the 2023 coup, and the airport is a strategic hub that hosts a Nigerian Air Force base as well as the headquarters of the Niger-Burkina Faso-Mali Joint Military Force. Analysts say that the symbolism of the airport as a headquarters for regional military forces makes it an attractive target for militants. As one security analyst noted, the symbolism of the airport as headquarters for AES will drive intent by militants to target it. Now, I want to caution that no group has yet claimed responsibility for today's attack, and the authorities have not commented on the situation. But residents in Niamey tell us that the army has repelled the attack and is now hunting down the fleeing assailants. As we continue to monitor this developing story, I want to remind our listeners of the complexities and challenges facing the Sahel region. The ongoing violence and instability in Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali are a stark reminder of the need for regional cooperation and international support to address these security threats. That's all for today's Barbara's Bulletin. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay engaged.